In the beginning, the spread of the zombie virus was swift and relentless. It started as a mysterious outbreak, originating from an unknown source. The virus was highly contagious and transmitted through bodily fluids, primarily through bites or scratches from infected individuals. As the infected roamed the streets, unaware of their impending transformation, they unknowingly transmitted the virus to others. The initial cases were sporadic, causing confusion and panic among the general population. However, the true horror began when the infected individuals died and reanimated as mindless, flesh-craving zombies. The virus spread rapidly through densely populated areas, such as cities and towns, where people were in close proximity to one another. The infected, driven by their insatiable hunger, attacked and bit unsuspecting victims, thereby perpetuating the cycle of infection. As the number of infected individuals grew exponentially, chaos and fear gripped the world. Efforts were made to contain the outbreak, but they proved futile. The virus was relentless, and no cure or vaccine could be found in time to halt its advance. Governments collapsed, societal structures crumbled, and the world descended into a state of anarchy. As survivors attempted to flee the infected zones, they unknowingly carried the virus with them. Refugee camps, once places of temporary safety, became breeding grounds for the spread of the contagion. The virus lurked in the shadows, waiting for an opportunity to claim new victims and convert them into its mindless minions. The zombie virus exploited the vulnerability of the human population. It capitalized on our fears, our instincts, and our desire to survive. It spread through the chaos and desperation that enveloped the post-apocalyptic world, sparing no one in its path. Eventually, the virus penetrated even the most remote corners of the planet. No place was truly safe from the clutches of the undead. Survivors were forced to constantly be on guard, navigating a treacherous landscape where death lurked around every corner. As time went on, the origin of the zombie virus remained shrouded in mystery. Some speculated it was the result of a biological experiment gone wrong, while others believed it was a divine punishment for humanity's transgressions. But amidst the desperation and despair, the survivors had little time to dwell on the cause. Their focus shifted towards one thing: survival in a world overrun by the walking dead. In a world ravaged by a devastating apocalypse, a hero emerged from the shadows. He was Superman. He was the last symbol of hope for humanity. However, this was not the world we once knew. It had been overrun by hordes of ravenous zombies, hungry for human flesh. Superman fought valiantly against the relentless undead. With his incredible strength and heat vision, he decimated countless zombies, saving the lives of those few humans who had managed to survive. Every day, he soared through the desolate skies, scanning the ruined cities for any signs of life and eliminating any threats that crossed his path. Years went by, and Superman's heroic deeds became legendary among the dwindling human population. He was their protector, their savior, the last bastion of resistance against the zombie menace. Yet, with every zombie he vanquished, a tiny part of his invulnerability seemed to fade away. At first, he dismissed it as mere exhaustion. Fighting off the endless waves of undead took a toll on his body, after all. But as time went on, the symptoms grew worse. He found himself growing weaker, his wounds healing slower than before. His once vibrant blue eyes turned bloodshot and hollow. Superman's heart sank as he realized the horrifying truth. He was turning into one of them, a zombie. The very creatures he had spent years fighting against were now consuming him from the inside. It was a cruel twist of fate, a punishment for his unwavering dedication to protecting humanity. He withdrew from the world, retreating to a secluded cave deep within the mountains. He no longer wanted to endanger the lives of those he had sworn to protect. In the darkness, he pondered his existence, tortured by the irony of his impending fate. Days turned into weeks and Superman's transformation progressed steadily. His skin grew pale and mottled, his body decaying bit by bit. He could feel the insatiable hunger gnawing at his insides, urging him to seek out the living. The very thought horrified him, but he knew it was only a matter of time before he succumbed to his basest instincts. With heavy heart, Superman donned his tattered cape one last time and took to the skies. He soared over the desolate wastelands, his mind plagued by guilt and remorse. He sought out one final act of redemption, one last chance to save humanity from the monster he was becoming. Spotting a small group of survivors huddled in a crumbling building, he descended with a solemn determination. They recognized him, their last flicker of hope rekindling in their eyes. But Superman knew the truth. He was no longer their savior. He was their doom. With tears streaming down his face, Superman unleashed a devastating blast of heat vision, obliterating the surrounding zombies and sacrificing himself in the process. The survivors watched in awe and sorrow as their fallen hero turned to ash before their eyes. Grief hung heavy in the air, their last glimmer of hope extinguished. But just when they thought the nightmare was over, a strange occurrence took place. From the ashes, Superman rose again, his eyes vacant and filled with a sinister darkness. The survivors, filled with a mix of disbelief and horror, took a step back. Something was terribly wrong. Their hero had returned, but he was no longer the symbol of justice and protection they once knew. As if driven by an insatiable hunger, Superman lunged at the remaining humans. He tore through the survivors with an unsettling ferocity. One by one, the survivors fell to the monstrous onslaught of their former champion. His powers, once used to save lives, were now used to extinguish them. The very symbol of hope had been corrupted, transformed into a harbinger of destruction.